end of this lesson, you should be able to identify and describe the tools you would expect to find in an integrated development environment, or IDE, for software. Hey guys!
Hey Murray!
Now throughout this series, we're going to be writing programs using Java programming language. But for now, I want us to concentrate on downloading the Java Development Kit and the Integrated Development Window. Right, are we all ready to start?
Yep.
You fired up your laptops?
We are both ready and waiting.
Let's do this.
Great. Now I want you to start your browsers. Start them up there.
Okay.
And go to java.sun.com. Put that in the address bar and click go. Right, now, under popular downloads, choose the latest Java SE version and click on that hyperlink. Right, now, this takes us to the download page where we can select download. Now, these downloads take a while, huh? So don't do them on any broadband service like mobile. Now, from there, choose the JDK for the operating system that matches your computer. Now read that license agreement. And then choose Accept License Agreement. There we go. The Download Center dialog box shows that the download is complete and the files are saved on the desktop. Is that right? Now, during the download, it's always a good idea to download the documentation because it provides a useful index list of explanations, instructions for setup, and a list of defined programs that are available for use, okay?
Okay.
Now, the download button for the documentation is on the same page as the JDK. Look for J2SE documentation. The folder has been saved onto the desktop. Now, although the download from the internet is complete, we still have to install the JDK on the computer. To do that, we start by opening the desktop folder and double-clicking on the file downloaded. Read and accept the terms in the license agreement. Then, to accept all the default settings, click Next each time until the Finish button appears. Click the Finish button to complete the installation. Now that the Java Development Kit has been installed, we need to download and install JGrasp, which is the IDE we're going to be using, yes? Now remember, for programming, installing the IDE is quicker and more efficient than using the command prompt, yes, for writing Java programs. As before, start the browser. Enter www.jgrasp.org and click on the download link. Click the jgrasp.exe that is meant for your computer. The file is saved on the desktop. Finally, the tutorials can be downloaded by clicking the button jgrasptutorials.zip. Right, now once this is downloaded, it's time to install the IDE. Double-click on the file jgrasp186_14.exe, and like before, if the default settings are okay, we can click Next. Read and agree to the license agreement and click Next. Click Next all the way through until Install, and then complete the installation by clicking the Finish button. Now, although the tutorials explain how to use JGrasp, I'll explain everything as we learn to program, so let's not worry about them too much now. But as you learn more, it's always useful to refer back to the tutorials. Now, it's time to unzip the files directly into the My Documents JGrasp folder. What we still need to do is link the Java documentation to the JGrasp IDE.
Murray, can we use the shortcut on the desktop?
That's what it's there for. To link the Java documentation, we select Settings on the menu bar at the top. go to Documentation Settings and click on the Browse button to navigate to the Docs folder in which we unzipped the Java documentation. Open the Docs folder. Select the API folder, click Choose, and then the OK button. When we look at the IDE, the toolbar is just below the menu bar where there are 3 sections or panes. The size of each of these panes or sections can be changed or even closed completely by clicking and dragging on or close to the border. The panes can also be reopened by clicking on the little arrows in the border. Notice the pane on the left has 4 tabs, one for Browse, one for Find, one for Debug, and one for Workbench. Now, I've already written and saved a program in the Java subfolder of the My Documents folder. And to get to that program called greetings.java, we double-click on the Java folder. When we double-click on the file name, it is opened and displayed in the right-hand pane. This is the editor part of the IDE, and it's here that we can type in a new program or change an existing one. Notice that there are a lot more icons on the toolbar, some of which we will use a little later. Now, the source code for Java programs, it consists of 1 or more classes. In later lessons, I'll explain what we mean by classes, but for this lesson, we've only got 1 class, and it's called Greetings. The code for Greetings starts at this curly bracket and ends at this one. This class contains only one thing, a method called main. A method is a piece of code that carries out a task. Here is its header. The body for the main method starts here at this curly bracket and ends at this one. It consists of 1 or more statements, each of which ends in a semicolon. This particular method has only 1 statement. Morwa, you'll notice your name right there. I'll show you what we're going to do with that program later. First, we need to compile and run the program. A class that has a main method with a header looks like this and can be run as a program. This is our source code, and we compile the source code by clicking on the green plus icon in the toolbar. That loads the compiler, which takes our source code and, remember, translates it into bytecode. Now, watch what happens in the bottom pane. Notice the message in the status bar at the bottom reads, Status Compiling. JVAC is the name of the Java compiler. And this message tells us that JGrasp is executing the compiler. Once this is finished, the status compiling message disappears to be replaced with Operation Complete.
So does that mean we can run the program now?
Yes, Kamo.
Oh, great.
And we do that by clicking on this icon. Now, Morwa, watch what happens when we click on the icon.
Okay.
It gives us a greetings message. Good day, Morwa. That's the output of our program. And you can see that it's on the Run I/O tab, not on the Compiler Messages tab. I/O stands for input and output. In other words, that tab is for the input and output of our program when it's running. This message tells us that it's executing the bytecode interpreter. The name of the bytecode interpreter, or Java virtual machine, is simply Java. And the input to the JVM is the class called Greetings.
And this message that says the JVM has finished running, does this mean our program has finished running?
Does indeed, Kamal. And that brings us conveniently to the end of today's lesson. Now, next time you guys are going to begin writing your own programs. In the meantime, your task for today is to do this. Make a list of the tools you would expect to find in a programming IDE and describe the basic function of each. Well, guys, we've come to the end of another long week. So go home, relax, and don't forget, enjoy the task.